My new word of the morning, go live.
And we are live. Go ahead, go live. Hey, there's New York Vinnie. He's on my left. I'm Michael Knight. I'm on his right. And every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, sometimes Tuesdays,
Yeah, that
we,
didn't
uh,
work out too well. As
we
far as
we join you on the tubes of the
trying
internet.
to give people a little bonus.
Salute, Vinnie. He had a hell of a day yesterday. Salute to Vinnie.
Oh my God, that was a brutal day, and I still haven't figured it all out yet, Michael.
It was
But
such a simple idea. We were just going to go live on Tuesday because so much happened. The Mets and the Jets. That was our theme. The Mets
yeah,
and the Jets.
we were just gonna hang and
Now that's old news. Now the
do
Jets are trading.
a little commentary on the sports of the evening, and that's all old
But
news.
no,
Except, well, the Jets.
no.
The Jets are never old news because now it's a question of who's running the show.
Well,
And
Woody Johnson's running the show, unfortunately.
see, I'm not sure. I'm thinking it looks to me like he said to Aaron Rodgers, "You run this thing. I'll be in the back."
Well,
Call me.
he denied so vehemently that he had run the idea of a trade by Aaron Rodgers, but didn't ask for his approval in any way.
Yeah, yeah, okay. And I got a piece of swampland in the Meadowlands with a couple of cannolis on it that I'd be happy to sell you.
But that could be one of the problems. New York teams playing in New Jersey just doesn't translate. There's nothing against New Jersey. It got nothing to do with New Jersey. It has to do with New York teams should be playing on New York soil.
I would agree with that, Michael. I don't think it's ever been a good idea for New York teams to play in New Jersey. It I don't know. It just seems odd to me, and the Jets certainly have proven it. Now the Giants are a bit of a different story, but the
Not so different.
Jets, I don't know, will ever win anything until they move back to New York.
It
Maybe
was
that's
as
the curse.
It was as if the football gods were saying, "Oh, you guys are in the red zone and it's first down. How about a 10-yard penalty? There you go. How about drop
Yeah,
the ball? How about fall down?"
well, the most interesting plan for the Jets, I thought, was the plan they came up with before they built the new Meadowlands Stadium, which was to build a stadium on the west side
Of Manhattan.
of Manhattan. They were actually going to put it out in the water
Oh,
on the west side. Now, traffic would have been nuts,
well, you could
but,
park in the yards.
well, yeah, you park in the yards and you park in New Jersey and you take the train in.
That's what you do.
You know, it wouldn't have been that hard for people. Uh, and I thought that would have put at least the Jets. Actually, they wanted to do it for both the Jets and the Giants, but they couldn't get the city council on the same page. Bloomberg couldn't get people on the same page. Nobody could seem to get anybody on the right page.
What did the
So
Hudson
what
River have
wound
to say
up
about it?
happening was New Jersey building a new stadium, and now the Jets
What
and the
did
Giants are going to be there for I don't know how long, but it's wrong because New York only has one football team, the Buffalo Bills.
and even up against the Jets, they did not look that impressive. They won by default. They won by just being there when the Jets played.
Yeah, I mean, you could make a pretty good case that the Jets probably should have won that game.
Oh, they should have won that game. They could have won that game.
Yeah, good. Not just could have, but should have. But again, the Jets are a cursed franchise.
Yep.
Uh, they're the Seattle Mariners of football. They just can't seem to get anything done, and it almost seems like they've been worse since they left Shea Stadium. I know statistically they haven't because they've been in a couple of championship games, but the Jets just the Jets were the team of the common people.
Yep.
You know, the Giants were always the team of the Manhattan elite.
And
They played at
the guy that
Yankee
comes to the game completely
Stadium.
dressed up with, he's got the Hawaiian shirt, he's color coded, he's got the suit, the hat, the makeup, the chains around his neck, and his name is Mr. Jet. That's what he came up with. I'm Mr. Jet. It's an
I like the
embarrassment.
other guy better, Fireman Bob or whatever he was, Fireman Bill or Fireman
Yeah.
Ed, who had the big Jets fireman hat and used to run around. I always thought that was a better Jets
Yeah.
guy. Anyway, that's in the past. The Jets will have to figure it out, and I don't think they're ever going to figure it out in my lifetime. I'm just not
Well,
convinced.
the look on Roger's face. I mean, it was as if there had been a terrible tragedy, a death in the family, a ghastly occurrence, and he lived through it. But the look on his face was, it wasn't just football to me. This was something terrible.
Well, he's just a weird dude, man. He's just a strange cat.
It's
I,
true,
I
but if
I'm
he's your
just
quarterback, he
he
looked 40
just
years
doesn't
old the
look
other
like
day.
he's having any fun playing the game, does he?
No,
I
not
mean,
now.
most quarterbacks you see, they look like they're having some fun playing the game. Even Geno Smith, when he chucks the interceptions up, looks like he's having fun throwing an interception. Aaron Rodgers just doesn't look like he's happy. He looks like he wants to move off to the next Joe Rogan show. That
Or
he's just
Pat McAfee.
yeah, he wants to be on that. He's thinking about his broadcasting career. While he's calling out the signals. I don't know. I just I don't. Listen. The guy's got a gun. He's got a great arm. He knows where to throw the ball. He's probably has more talent than anybody else on that team. And maybe they'll get it figured out. Maybe they will. Maybe all of a sudden that 2-0 start that's turned into like what is it 2-3 now, um, and just a season of disarray and discontent. I mean, the Jets were better off last year when he wasn't on the field.
Good point. More together, more organized.
Yeah, he got hurt, and everybody had to kind of pull it together. And
But
it
when
just
you
doesn't
fire your
look
head coach
like
after 5 games, you send the whole organization into chaos.
yeah. And when the perception is that your quarterback has enough power to get the head coach fired, isn't everybody else in the locker room thinking, well, yeah, this guy can get me blown out of here?
And the head coach was not calling the offensive plays,
Yeah,
reminding
isn't
everyone
the guy
he
now
was the,
Schruber or Schnackenpuffer or
and
whatever the heck his name is?
now Ulbrich is calling him or whatever his name is.
Eh, well, same thing. New Utrecht. I don't know. It's just you know what? It's a mess, Michael. It's a mess of men and pigskin and equipment.
And money, lots of money being wasted.
Yeah, and whatever Woody Johnson throws at this team, whatever Johnson tries to go out and do, it just never. It's like find somebody else. It's somebody else's turn.
And there's some animosity involved in this because when Saleh was fired, he asked to address the team and he was denied that right. And security escorted him to his car. So it was that kind of firing, just like they fired the morning jock and it didn't go
Yeah,
well.
I mean, it really was like a radio station firing, wasn't it?
Exactly.
Although I have to knock on wood. The last time I was fired from a radio station, which was in Pittsburgh, they at least let me come back and do a final show.
No, that's nice.
So there was that, which is
Some
is
honor
really
among the
out of.
thieves.
It doesn't usually happen.
I've never heard of such a thing. Well, I
Yeah.
have heard of it, but
So I was it gave me hard. It's hard for me to knock that because it's the only time it ever happened in my radio career where they said we'll come back. You want to come back and do a last show? And I said, yeah, I would love to, and I did it. By the way, our friend BJ Shea is out of a
yes.
job again.
What happened, BJ?
Don't know. He can't say. Not saying, which is never really a good thing.
Or
You
they
know,
just they tie some conditions to his severance.
Yeah, yeah. And I feel bad because BJ's a good guy and a good talent, um, who unfortunately finds himself in a place that doesn't have a lot of places to go.
Yeah.
I
Hey,
mean,
where can you go in news radio? There's one news station in Los Angeles. One. Where can you go for San Francisco? There's one news station. One. And they're
Yeah,
all
I
cutting.
mean,
They're all cutting
basically, you gotta go to
personnel.
San Diego, right?
Boeing is firing 17,000 people.
Yeah, Stellantis is going to be knocking off. I think they already have plans to lay off 11,000. Um, no, some of these. This picture is not going to be pretty, and I think the sad part about that is that, of course, Trump is going to come in and tell everybody that he can fix it. Well, yeah, he got no idea what he can fix.
He's going to
Can't
fix the
settle. I mean,
media.
he can't settle himself. He can't stand on stage for an hour.
And these people can't spell YMCA. They tried. They tried desperately to spell it. They just couldn't get it together. Hey, there's 4 letters. They could be in any order. Who's to say?
Do you think they have? And I've always wondered this about people with this song. Do you think
No.
that the? And I've always thought about it in terms of a baseball crowd. Because they play that thing at once during every baseball game. Most teams. Do you think they have any idea? Any idea what the song means?
Uh, 10% do, maybe 20%.
I can't see 20% of the audience in Kansas City at Kauffman Stadium knowing what the song means and still singing it.
Hey, I got a call from Biff Jiggerman yesterday. Guess where he was?
Where?
Where he always is. He's in Kansas City.
What
And you know what he told me about the Mets and the Dodgers? He
was he?
said,
Was he picking up any barbecue while he was there?
"No, no,
No.
no,
Okay.
no.
What did he tell you about the
He
Mets
has
and
a
the
very
Ducks?
sensitive he has a very sensitive stomach. He can't take the sauce." He said it's going to be some kind of game.
Gonna be some kind of game tonight, huh?
I uh, I had to say, please repeat that, Biff. I didn't get that. Well, it's going to be some kind of. He used more sibilants than I can. More sibilants than Marv Albert.
Oh my God! Some kind of game. Well, it is going to be some. The place is going to be rocking tonight. City Field. They go back for Game 3 of this series. For some reason, Michael, I keep thinking it's Friday today. I don't know what the hell is going on with me,
But
but
it's
my
really
mind
Tuesday.
keeps setting
No, it's
up that it's
Wednesday.
Friday instead of Wednesday.
It's okay. Make
No,
it
it's not
Friday.
okay because I
Make it.
got things I got to do on Friday that I'm showing up for 2 days early.
No,
Not good.
It's not okay. It's going to be some kind of game.
Something wrong. There's something wrong, Michael. There's something wrong. Some-
Well, there's so many things wrong, but let's enjoy our media prominence now, Vinny, because if Donald Trump gets reelected or elected in this case, we're gone. They're going to shut.
well,
They're going to
yeah,
shut.
and
They're
the
going to
only
shut
question
down.
is
They're
who
going to.
comes to get us, right?
There will be the men in the black leather coats. There will be no discerning opinions. Nobody gets
Has
to say, "But wait a minute, what about?" No, 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 none of that. Come with me.
has
But I was
anybody
just thinking. Nope, come with me.
has anybody out of the 48.1% of the people of this country that are going to vote for Donald Trump, has any of them read World War II history or the history of Germany in the 1930s?
What is it about history that it teaches us, Vinny? That it repeats and that
That
no
it
one ever learns
repeats
from.
itself. Yes,
No one ever learns.
and nobody, yes, nobody ever learns from it. It's amazing to me. Now I'm a student of World War II history and what led up to World War II and how Hitler and his people got into Germany and took a discontented group of people and turned them into a movement.
Starving, angry, fearful. That's what they
And,
were.
and the way they did it was just to continue to promise things that they could never deliver on,
That they never did deliver on.
and make one group
the whole
the
reason.
point of their hate, the point of their disdain, the point of everything that was wrong with the country was blamed on the Jews.
What about that guy Mussolini? He's Italian. No, no, no. He's our friend. Oh, why
He's
didn't you
our
say?
buddy.
Why
He's
didn't you
got Italy.
say? Yeah.
And I just don't understand how people, anybody, could know that and look at what Slapdick is doing and not see the similarities, especially now when he starts to talk about, I'm going to send the National Guard after people, or I'm going to send the military after people.
And what did the National Guard or the military say in response to that?
I haven't heard anybody say anything. I would have to believe that that this is going to create quite a kerfluffle. Kerfuffle? Kerfluffle.
Kerfuffle. Yeah, kerfuffle.
Kerfuffle. It's going to create quite a kerfuffle because if Donald Trump does get elected, he is the commander in chief. So do you disobey orders from the commander in chief?
The generals of the Wehrmacht who knew better still obeyed Hitler and
Yeah.
sent their men on two fronts, the Western Front and the Russian Front. Someone should tell that to Benjamin Netanyahu about fighting on two fronts.
Never a good idea.
You should take a look at World War II. World War II, what can we learn from World War II? Well, you could learn something. You'd be surprised, Benjamin.
Many things.
Don't fight on two fronts.
It's the worst thing you can do. And buy your guys winter coats. That's another thing you probably could learn. Don't send them out to the Russian front.
They bought them. They just didn't send them. Hey,
Yeah.
we got boots. We got winter boots too. Where are they? We're not sending those either.
And it maybe
A poison could
re-engineering
develop
things
blood grip.
continuously is a bad idea.
Well, bad ideas. We got them. You want some bad ideas? We got them.
We got them. We got bad ideas. Enough bad ideas to go around. So and the other thing about the if you study World War II and Germany up until World War II and past it, is that the barrage of lies were continuous,
Lies
and the
and only
people
lies.
that would spread those lies
Did it
were
willingly and knowingly spread them.
happy to do it, happy to spread lies and spread rumors and spread misinformation. And what do we have going on right now?
All of the above.
I just looked at
all we're missing is
name.
all we're missing is a minister of propaganda. We don't have Joseph Goebbels.
Yeah, but Stephen Miller does a pretty good job.
Fox
Or
News.
who's the guy? Who's Trump's director of communications? Stephen Chun.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen this guy?
The healthiest president ever and the wisest man ever to hold the office. Or words to that effect yesterday.
Yeah, it's anyway. I know. Listen, we're gonna have all. And what bothers me too, Michael, and listen, people are entitled to put out write what they want to write in the social media. The only place I draw the line is when people lie, when people put false things out there. And I opened up my Facebook this morning to a post on Facebook that had to be 1,000 words, and it was all cut out of and cut and pasted from something. I don't know where. I don't even want to know where. But the post was from an ex-baseball player.
Did he used to play for the Giants?
No. And as I looked at this thing and I read it, I was like, I don't mind disagreeing with somebody. You got your opinion, I got mine. Norm Charlton and we disagree about so many things politically. But Norm seems to me to always at least tell me what he believes is the truth.
I truly believed that I could get you with my slider, but I should have thrown my fastball.
Yeah, and so I don't, Norm. I always read what he writes, and if I agree with it, if I don't agree with it, I mean,
Do you
but
ever
it's
do
what he believes.
you ever rest him for 30 days?
No, I wouldn't rest him for 30 days. I'd pitch his arm off. But the stuff I saw this morning, not from Norm, but from another pitcher, was just out and out lies. And these are people that
That's why
have
you
influence.
that's why you got to check
Over,
them after every inning to see what goop they have on their hands, on their belt, on their collar, on their mitt. Every inning.
yeah. So anyway, it was disappointing to me to
What was the
open up
lie?
my Facebook this morning and
What was
see
the lie?
this.
What was the lie about?
It was about all the Trump stuff. Kamala Harris is this, and Gavin Newsom is Nancy Pelosi's nephew, and just all this kind of wild conspiracy theory shit that so many people want to. It's almost like the Russians printed it up, and this guy just cut it and pasted it.
He's a useful idiot.
Yeah, and so here we are, 3 weeks before the election, and getting down to the nubs, 2 Tuesdays before the election, and people are out spreading this kind of stuff. Now you'd have to be a pretty weak mind to believe it, no matter what side you're on.
No, it's not really converting anybody. It's just reinforcing.
Yeah, I mean, are you really converting anybody at this point? I mean, do you know anybody who in your group of friends that you say, if I just pound on them a little harder, maybe I'll get them to vote for Kamala Harris?
Well, if you have a discussion with somebody and they're talking like Jake Tapper with the exact comments that he made this afternoon, trying to be fair. But to be fair, Donald Trump is a great dancer. Now, that would be one of his opening lines.
Well, he's not a great dancer. He's a shitty dancer.
He's a shitty dancer. He has no natural moves.
When he dances, and I love Jimmy Kimmel always says this. I love it. He looks like he's jerking two guys off.
The funny thing about that is he's got the white guy dance where he plants his feet firmly, never moves them, and just moves his arms, and he thinks that that is dancing.
Well, because everybody his whole life has told him that's good dancing.
You are a great dancer, Donald. I'll tell you one thing. It never gets said enough. You are a fabulous dancer.
And I don't know if you saw that appearance yesterday before the Chicago Economic Club or whatever it was, but it was ridiculous.
And the guy who
And I'll
interviewed
tell
him did a good job.
and I know it was ridiculous because I happen to know what he was talking about yesterday.
That's
He was
rare.
talking about the automotive business. And I think maybe I have a bit of an insight into that.
What do you think about his comments?
And I thought I just thought he flat out didn't know what he was talking about.
Once again, that was Adolf Hitler's gift. While we're making comparisons, he never ever knew what he was talking about, and he never ever took advice, and he refused to listen to experts, and he had them banished from his site. Take that man
Yeah,
away.
yeah. Anybody who disagreed with him, all of a sudden was on the Russian front.
Without his
I
own
don't know
color.
how Colonel Klink and Sergeant Schultz ever managed to not go to the Russian front. I mean, four
They knew
years of
nothing.
watching that show,
They made a lot of mistakes. They made a lot of tactical errors.
they were yeah they were they did not have running a prison camp down toot sweet.
And how come Hogan was always freshly shaved, clean, pressed uniform, nice jacket with fuzzy collar?
Well, I think that Hilda probably used to take care of business for him.
Oh, I didn't think of that.
Yeah, see, I think him and Hilda had a little thing going, and
Meet,
always,
meet me behind the stalag.
yeah, yeah, always had a little something going. so she could just slip his uniform in with Klink and Schultz. And although I think Schultz's wife used to do his uniform, I don't know that Klink had a wife. It didn't
I don't
appear to
think
me
so.
that he did.
I don't believe so. No.
I think he might have
No.
been
He
he
was
might have been
without.
living an alternative lifestyle.
He was without a Frau.
He frowned on a Frau.
Yeah.
Um, but Schultz, I think Schultz had a Mama Schultz somewhere.
He had a big jacket, a big coat, a big one.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, how did the Germans ever think they were going to win that war with all of those kinds of big coats and everything?
Except for the guys in Russia. They didn't get the coats. See what I'm
They
saying? They
didn't,
had the
yeah,
coats.
the guys on the coast of France, they had 6 different coats hanging in their closets of the chateaus that they had taken over.
Yeah,
Meanwhile,
no,
the
I saw
guys out
that.
on the Russian front,
No.
they're wrapping themselves in newspaper.
And did they ever get an apology from Herr Hitler, Der Fuhrer? No, never.
Yeah, I think he was um, busy killing himself.
He thought they were suckers. Oh, whoever heard that before? Wait,
Yeah,
it'll come to me.
yeah. That's where you hear that. He had no. Anyway, so it'll be interesting to see. Today we have Donald Trump talking to groups of women, and we have Kamala Harris going on Fox.
Everything we know in the world has been turned on its ear.
It's all different. So we'll have to see
Well, will any of the
what
women
happens.
that
Then
Trump
you have
talks to have a chance to talk
early
back?
voting in Georgia.
And it's going very well. Records are being set.
They're lined up. It's like they're giving something away.
Do you
I'm
get
just,
green stamps with voting?
I don't know. I'm just hoping that Larry David doesn't show up with water. you know, I don't know, Michael. This is going to be a nail biter.
That's
This
a
is
fact.
we've gone from a sense of feeling like people were going to be we're going to see through what was going on to a sense of I don't know that people are smart enough to see through what's going on.
Well, here's a baseball analogy. The Yankees won their first 2 games. Do the Yankee fans care by how much? They don't. Did we win
No,
them both 1-0? I couldn't care less. Was it 7-0? Was it 10-0? Who cares? Did we win the first 2 games? Yes, you did. That's so I don't care. So I don't care. Well, John Kennedy beat Nixon. Gore beat Bush. Oop, bad example.
well, that Kennedy beat Nixon is a bad example too, because a lot of people think that there was a lot of voter fraud in that election
What
in
you have to say is people are saying. Many people are
Chicago
saying.
and in West Virginia.
How come there's
There's still
no
people
still voting in that election?
that you can talk to in West Virginia will tell you that election was stolen. Although in those days, much to Nixon's credit, he said, "Well, I lost. So tomorrow morning, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to concede the election to John F. Kennedy and say that you won and I lost, and we'll see you next time around."
How come nobody fixes an election in Omaha, Nebraska, or Topeka, Kansas? It's always Chicago or some far flung area. This year would have to be North Carolina, Georgia, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan. Those are the
Yeah,
battlegrounds.
it's interesting. Pennsylvania seems to me to be the most likely place that you might be able to do something like that. But I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know that you can fix an election these days.
No,
Can you?
not even in Arizona, Vinny. Not even in Nevada.
I just think there's too many eyes. Too many now you can have people screaming that the election is fixed, and you can have people screaming and trying to undermine the trust in the system, which is the whole basis of what the Trump campaign is built on.
Just
But
to be said.
I don't know that you can have that kind of widespread fraud that you would need.
And if you could, would you say anything about it? Would you make all this hoopla? If you could fix an election, you'd fix it, and Trump would win.
Yeah, it's funny how the elections are never fixed when Trump does win.
Nope.
Whenever Trump wins or or a Republican candidate wins, the elections are never fixed.
We got the kinks out. We're ready. We're
Yeah.
good now.
Whenever a Democrat wins,
Whoop, we
it's
got a
always
problem.
fixed.
We got a problem.
I mean, it's funny how that works. Well, the only thing I can say is that if you get your ballot, don't dick around. Don't leave your ballot in a pile of stuff. Don't mess around with it. Take your ballot, mark it the way you're going to mark it, put it in the envelope, and get it back to the post office.
I should show it to you, but it's sitting on the table over there, and I can't get to it easily. So that's where my ballot is. It's
I
here.
trust
It's here.
you, but
California came
don't.
through. They printed it, and they put my name on it.
Yeah, don't stick it somewhere where you're going to forget about it, because I really and truly believe that every vote is going to matter. I always think every vote matters.
Well, you're always
As
right.
somebody who's won an election by one vote, I can tell you that every vote matters.
Did you vote for yourself?
Yes,
Good move. Otherwise, it would have been a tie.
yes. It would have been funny if I would have wrote in my own name and then not voted for myself.
That would have been uncomfortable. An
That would have
uncomfortable
been
feeling.
that would have led me to question many things about my life. But no, I wrote in my own name and I wound up winning. Imagine that.
CNN used a word in their headline this morning that they didn't use in the story, which I thought was interesting. Kamala Harris panics. They never explained what she panicked about. They never explained where the panic took place. They never explained what the panic was over. They never explained if she was going to keep panicking or continue to panic, or if the panic was over sometime soon. They never explained it. They just said she panicked. That's all.
Did
Then
she
they
come up with did she get medicine for that panic? Because when I panicked the other night, I called my doctor and my doctor said, "Here's some medicine and you take this and you'll be
anti-panic.
less panicked."
Was he right?
Haven't taken it yet.
Don't panic and take it now.
Yeah, I hadn't felt panicked enough over the last couple of days. I mean, I got it, what, a day, 2 days. I haven't felt panicked enough to take it. So I don't know if it works or not. I'm hoping that it does, because I'm pretty sure that in the next 3 weeks, I'm going to feel panic at some point.
You want to feel freaky? What about election night? When you start watching and the polls aren't closed, so there's no real results, but you're watching anyway. So that's going to be me.
Yeah, I mean, you've done that. I've done that. I mean, we've all done that. Whether we're at a political headquarters or just sitting home, with the cheese and crackers and sitting there watching it.
I remember the
Um,
2016 results, and I was in Wenatchee. Oh God. Oh God.
yeah, yeah. So I don't know. The only thing I can do, Michael, and again, I don't know if I'm just going to be sitting here and watching it, or um, I don't know, or go to some, the Democratic headquarters, or who knows, maybe I'll really get funky and go down and sit in the Republican headquarters and watch it. But it's no, I wouldn't. I don't think I'd
They
do
don't know
that.
how to party. They don't know how to throw a party.
I will disagree with that. I've actually run into some Republicans that have been um, fairly good at throwing parties.
I always maintained that it was Republicans that gave drugs a bad name.
Republicans gave a lot of things bad names, but no. See, I think I think there are some Republicans, and I don't want to name names here, but I think there's some Republicans that know how to party. Now, this is before all the Trump stuff. I will grant you that this is all in the '90s and 2000s, so
So you're
It's
talking
it's
about
a little bit
between
different.
somewhere between Eisenhower, Nixon, and Mitt Romney.
Where is Mitt?
He's probably in Utah, over talking to the president.
Haven't seen Mitt. I was fully expecting that he would come out and endorse Kamala,
Oh, when you said
but
come out, I thought you meant he was going to declare.
I guess there's just so much of a line that people are going to walk up to. I mean, some people have the nerve to do it, and some people don't. Some people have the nerve to say my country counts more than my party affiliation. That democracy and the Constitution count more than my party affiliation.
Well,
Some don't.
he's a little worried about the backslap. If Trump wins, guess what's going to happen to people like Romney?
Well, according to Trump, he's going to send the military after them, right?
Will the Mormons be complicit? Will they hold him in security till the military gets there?
I don't know. If I'm the Mormons, I'm probably digging a series of underground tunnels to get him out of there.
Uh,
I'm
Utah might be
probably
a safe
saying
haven.
time to go. Let's get the bus and go where we're going.
I once said that the south of France seemed like a pretty good place to move to if you had to get out in a panic. Someone else mentioned Amsterdam.
Too many
Uh,
drugs in Amsterdam. Too many. It's just one of those places where you go and it seems like a good deal until you're there and everybody you know is drugged up and you try to get a cup of coffee at 8 o'clock in the morning and the barista is like nodding on her espresso machine.
wrong kind of drugs. She's into opiates.
Yeah, I'm just like kind of, I don't know that I want that.
Well,
Nice place to visit, but I don't know that I'd want to live there. Where the south
the
of France,
the Amalfi Coast.
yeah. Although things are kind of wacky in Italy too. I
Yeah, but
mean,
it blows over. There's no government involved.
well, now they just came up with this new law about IVF in Italy. That if a woman in Italy leaves Italy and goes to, let's say, the United States and gets an IVF treatments, gets
Yeah,
IVF treatments, then goes back to Italy,
becomes pregnant.
she can be jailed
What's the offense? Oh, it's the offense of God. They offended
because
God.
IVF is against the law in Italy.
It's against the Lord.
So yeah, well, that is. I mean, they have a different idea about how government works over there. Their idea about the government over there is that it's the word of God.
But if you're a saint, can you get away with more? If I'm a saint, do I
Well,
get
that's the thing,
dispensation?
Mike. You should get away with a lot if you're a saint.
I'm a saint.
Be-
I just wanted to declare that.
Yeah, being a saint is different than being, being a saint is like being a big contributor to the Republican Party.
Because a lot of people say, describing themselves, well, I'm no saint. I just wanted to make it clear. I am one. I'm a saint.
Yeah, I am a saint. Yeah. Am I the only one that it bothers that Elon Musk and who's that big conservative donor that her husband just died a couple of years ago? I can't remember the name right now.
Edelman.
Adelson, yes, yes. Um, does it bother anybody that they've put hundreds of millions of dollars into this campaign?
You know how people with a lot of money won't give you any, but will waste it on something invaluable to them, something that they really believe in that has no chance of making them another dime. It's like you can buy the result. You can buy a change in the history. You can buy the future, and you can't. So I'm glad she wasted her money. I know Donald Trump probably tucked some away.
Well, somebody's got to pay to print those Bibles, right?
Somebody else, or they take
Somebody has
seconds
to
that
pay.
the other printing presses rejected because there was a like an error, 6 errors. They proofed it and said, "What's this? This isn't in the Bible."
Yeah, I mean, yeah. When the commandment is printed, "Thou shalt kill," that's a mistake.
That was not what they intended.
You should get your money back.
But there are millions of people who have already voted. That's the interesting thing about what our consternation is. We can't tell you who they are. We can't tell you where they are. We can't tell you what they voted for. But they do know that those ballots have been cast, millions of them. There's 40 million coming from California. Everybody in California that's going to vote has got their ballot right now. So that's another 40 million votes. I don't know what the neighboring states are doing. Don't know what Washington and Oregon are up to.
I've seen a voter pamphlet. I have not seen a ballot yet. I'm pretty sure that we get them 30 days out. Um, so it should be coming, or around 30 days out. So it should be coming. Counties are different. I'm in Snohomish County, so it comes a little different than if you're in King County. But
Do you have sun breaks
we
today? Do you have sun breaks today?
I don't see anything that looks like the sun out there. It's all gray.
That's the perfect day for a sun break. You won't see it. It'll be forecast. It'll happen. You'll miss it, but it happened.
I went looking for one yesterday and could not find one
Well,
because
that's
I needed
just
a little light to take a picture, and I just couldn't find any natural good light. So I had to just form some of my own, which I'm not all that great at. So let's turn the page here a second, Mikey, and let's talk a little bit about the game tonight because we moved this thing, this national. By the way, what a really sloppy game last night. Did you watch the Yankees
I
and
watched some of it.
Cleveland last night?
I saw Aaron Judge's homer. I saw the late homer for Cleveland in the ninth inning, I guess. They had opportunities to come back, but they just couldn't put it together.
Yeah, and the Yankees had opportunities to bury him, and the Yankees couldn't seem to do anything that would really put them up. They didn't look like the Yankees.
And Cleveland didn't look like Cleveland enough,
And Cleveland,
unfortunately.
yeah, and Cleveland didn't look like Cleveland. It was definitely a game where everybody in that game looked off.
And the fans weren't into it as much as I thought they should be, unless the audio was weird.
Yeah, it was kind of quiet. Well, I always find about Yankee fans that there's like almost an expectation
They're not
that
going to cheer. Yeah,
they should be there. Now they got wild for Judge's home run because it
yeah.
was I think it was his first home run in the postseason, wasn't it?
Yes, yes, it is. Yes, it was.
And so that's a very unlikely scenario for Judge. Um, but the fans, yeah, I noticed that too. I just thought that I didn't know if it was the air of let's get this over so we can get to the World Series. This little thing that we got to do here and play this team is bothering me, or or what it is.
And
But
the Fox pregame and then the analysis. I know they got stars doing it, but it's very, very weak.
yeah, I'm not a yeah, the Fox. Well, I like
Big,
Pedro. Pedro Martinez, I really like.
the Big Poppy. I
He's
mean,
funny.
he's never said anything worth repeating or listening to. I
Well,
love
really,
him.
have any of them?
No,
You know who said something? I take that back. Who said something last night that was interesting was Jimmy Rollins, the former Philly second baseman, who talked about said when they played in big games, they would go out. Him and who was the shortstop there for a million years in Philly. Um, anyway, he would go to at the beginning of a game. He'd draw a line behind second base, and they would say anything on that side of the line. Oh, His name is escaping me now, but I think it begins with a U. Anyway, uh, he'd say anything on this side of the line is you, anything on this side of the line is me. Stay on your side of the line and we'll be okay. And it worked for them. And he was referring to that play that that the Cleveland player came over the shortstop, who's a good one of the good unknown players of the game, came over and tried to grab on the wrong side of the infield and botched, and it opened the gates for the Yankees.
You can't make a mistake like that in a playoff.
Well, but you do. That's why they
Yes, you
have
do.
that's why they have a big E up on that scoreboard.
Yeah, they did.
You know,
Well,
I
one thing
mean,
the Fox commentators said that I did like, and it was not the pregame, it's the postgame, but the play-by-play guys, when the Mets were winning, they said the fans in this place, talking about the home fans for the Mets, are with every pitch. They are with. He says it's an extraordinary feeling, but these fans are so smart and so into it. They are there for every pitch with a reaction, with something. Get out
yeah,
of here! You're a king. I love you.
it's a marked difference when you go to a game at I'll even say Pittsburgh, and you go to a game in a place like I don't know, L.A. or something like that. Um, the fans,
The LA fans left early when they won 10-0 or 9-0.
yeah, yeah, they
Playoff
were
game, they
gone.
left early. We're out of here. We've seen this.
Well, you know why the cops leave early in L.A., don't you?
I don't.
They want to beat the crowd. Um,
You
it's an
know,
old
LA.
one, Michael.
That's LAPD.
Anyway,
At
um,
714.
but when you go to games in cities where baseball has been there for so long and it's grandfather, parents, son, grandson kind of thing, um, the people tend to hang on to every pitch, every thrown ball, every hit, every crack of the bat. People pay attention. People in those stadiums don't get hit with the balls before they
No,
put the nets up.
they catch them.
They either catch them or they duck because they're paying attention for the
But they
most part.
but they see it coming.
Obviously,
Yeah.
exceptions,
Right.
but there's a certain attention that's paid to the game. We're on the West Coast. I don't know that you see that as much.
No. I know what you mean.
Um, and it's a fascinating thing to watch. I've always thought that it really keeps you keeps you plugged into it. So I expect City Field to be, or as I like to call it, Debits Field. Um, I expect to see the place rocking tonight.
Yeah.
You know, it's just going to be a it's been 9 years for the Mets since they've been to the championship game or the championship series, and I just think that there's a lot of people who are just going to be there's certain into it that people get when they go to these games back there, and they will totally be into it tonight. I'm thinking.
And
So part of the Dodgers strategy,
To see the Dodgers show up, to them they're the bums. If
yeah,
they're no matter how young
well,
or how old they are, they know that the Dodgers are the bums.
yeah, and hopefully the Mets will be able to inflict damage on the Dodgers early, and it'll turn it into a jovial fest. But if the Dodgers strike early and take the Mets out of it, or it'll be interesting to watch because right now the Mets, I think, are a team that don't believe they can lose. They think they can come back from anything.
Yep.
Uh, Tuesday's game or Monday's game really showed that. They got their asses handed to them the day before, and yet they come back and they're ready to play.
They had a great game. Started with the first batter.
Yeah, it's just boom. and I think that's good for the Mets. They're home. Their fans are there. It's just a really exciting way. The Dodgers players. I mean, they look up in the stands in the seventh inning, and half the place is emptied out.
What are you going to do?
I don't know that affects players or not, but I know that I guarantee you that Citi Field, if the score is 20-0,
Ain't going anywhere.
people are saying, I paid $500 for this ticket. I ain't going anywhere.
Why would I go home? Why would I go home? I don't want to
I'm
go
sitting
home.
here till the last out.
If I wanted to go home, I'd be at home.
Yeah, if I wanted to go home, I would have never come and watched this thing. But I think it should be obviously for me, it's going to be an interesting game, and I think for Met fans, and I think for baseball fans, I think that this might be the tight one.
Who's pitching for the Mets?
Out of the two games so far, both of them have been, one way, one went the other way. Now it's time to play a tight one.
Who's pitching for the Mets?
What I'm just it's Manea, and then it's oh man, it's escaping. It's not. Oh man, why am I? I don't have this in front of me, and I should have this called up in front of me so I can look at this. His name is just escaping me right now.
That's okay. Net is pitching.
Yeah, one of the Mets pitchers. Why am I? Why am I? See, that's the sucky thing. Severino is up against Walker Bueller. Is not to be confused with Jay Buhner. So, and Severino has kind of been up and down throughout the season, as far as I remember. And I do have to admit that I've seen more Met games this year than in any other year in the past few.
Of course, because of the
MLB package and the fact that the Mariners want to charge me. I forget how much money it is for Root Sports. So you'll have.
You can pay them Tuesday for a game today.
Yeah, so you'll have Bueller for the Dodgers, and he's he's been okay.
Let's let him
for them.
know.
I think he's come. I thought he was injured, to be honest with you. But so yeah, you'll see it in Thursday. Yamamoto for the Dodgers versus Quintana for the Mets. So it'll be hopefully tonight. I don't have to say hopefully. The place will be rocking. I think the only problem that the Mets have is that the left fielder has a bit of a
contusion.
Yeah, something's not right with his foot. So there's something going on there. But other than that, I think they're pretty well. I think they're pretty well okay.
Who's your guy on the team now, Acuna?
Oh, he is, but he hasn't been playing.
I know.
He had a pinch hit. He had a chance to pinch hit. But so I guess the guy, like everybody else, Pete Alonso.
Yeah, the puller.
He's really. Although I really like Brandon Nimmo, the left fielder that I was talking about. I really like him a lot too.
He's dangerous.
Yeah, and so those two guys are kind of my guys. I really, Alonso just looks like a big kid playing Little League baseball.
Yeah.
He just looks like he's one of those guys that go out there. He looks like he's having fun. Vientos also is a guy who
He's got some
is
swag.
I think a budding star,
Grand
but my
Slammer.
guy really is Pete Alonso. And I saw something last night, and I got to check this out further. I really don't know about this too much, but I was driving last night coming back from down in by the waterfront, and I saw they have the election signs out,
Yeah.
and I took this as an omen. I saw a sign that said polar bear
Which is
for
Alonzo's nickname.
which is Alonzo's nickname. Edmund's politician, polar bear. I got to go back today and well, there's a polar bear plunge on January 1st. That's not what I'm looking for. Uh, Edmund's politician, polar bear. Yeah, I gotta go back down and look at this sign, um, and see what the dealio is with this because I thought it was pretty funny.
That
Is
sounded
Yeah, what this guy's dealio is. So, or what the sign is, maybe it's a parody or something like that. But it looked good, and just the fact that I was driving by it and I had people behind me, so I couldn't stop. But I said I'd go back this morning and take a look at it and see what the deal is. But just the fact that I saw that made me feel like the mojo
is a
was
change in the
pointing in
weather.
my
Yeah,
direction.
I know. Of course, you got to take all the signs. I saw the
Hey,
sign.
we take every little piece of mojo that we can get. By the way, Mikey, I don't know if you've noticed the what's behind me this morning.
I see the. I can't read it.
It says, "Good afternoon and thank you for coming. Please arrive home safely."
Okay.
Uh, the score on there is Mets 5, Baltimore Orioles 3. So it was, in fact, 55 years ago today
Wow.
that Davy Johnson hit the final out. There was a ground ball. Oh no, it was a fly ball to the left fielder, uh, and that was the final out of the 1969 World Series.
Oh.
That sent the Mets and the entire baseball world into a state of shock and disbelief.
The Miracle Mets.
The Miracle Mets of 1969, a team that was 13 and a half games out in mid-July, came back under the direction of Gil Hodges and the addition of Don Clendenin, who was acquired from the Montreal Expos because he refused to go to the Houston Astros.
Good move, Don.
And gave the Mets their first world championship only 7 short years and lots of jokes after being accepted and admitted to the National League.
Oh, Jimmy Breslin, where are you?
I think he's probably still sitting on a bar stool in a lounge on Queens Boulevard, if I'm not mistaken, or he's at Heaney's Bar. But
What
one
can
of
you
those
do?
places.
Yeah. Well, I hope it's Heaney's.
Um, but again, a great day.
What's game
And
time tonight?
yeah, it was late afternoon. I think it was well, let's see. That doesn't say. I can't see it doesn't say on the scoreboard there, but it yeah, it just changed. It just changed your life. If you were a young 13-year-old baseball fan,
You can't freaking believe it.
yeah, and you were one of the first ones to jump over the railing and jump onto the field.
But part of the magic is you have to believe it. You gotta believe, right? That's the sign. You gotta
Well,
believe.
that was later. That was in '73. But it was a miracle.
Yeah.
It was truly. I mean, even the priests on the pulpits in St. Joan of Arc Church were admitting that this was a miracle. That if you're looking for a sign from God,
The Holy Father said, he said,
Bishop Mugavero from the Diocese of Brooklyn said so. He said, "This is how God works miracles. Look at the '69 Mets." And
right he
as I
was.
said, it changed my perspective on sports and on joy. There was no more joyous occasion that I can think of from a year that was not really that joyous.
No, it was a tough year.
1969 was a tough year. The only thing you really had was the Mets and
The Beatles.
everything, and everything else was kind of not that good news. You had great music. I mean,
And you
that
had
was the
bad
other
news
thing
music.
that year that was really
Yep.
incredible. Is you had really great music. But yeah, this was a wonderful thing, Michael, and to
Well,
be a
Vinny,
part of it.
drive by your polar bear sign. Have a
I'm going to
great
go
game. I'll
drive
be
by the polar bear sign. We'll
I'll be
report
with
back on Friday.
I'll be with you in solidarity at game time tonight, this afternoon.
Yes, I will be there and I will be watching. And please join me in saying a little prayer for the Mets before they take the field. And let's get these Dodgers eliminated and move on to the World Series where hopefully we can play the Yankees.
Oh,
And
brother.
we'll have one more Subway Series before I check out.
Let's do it. Have a good game tonight, Ben.
Mikey, you too. I will catch up with you, as I said, on Friday morning if
It'll
the
be
Lord's will, the creek don't rise.
in fact, it's
As
Friday
always,
because
Mike. And
we
look,
got
we made it
three
through with no interruptions.
we got three in New York. So yay.
Peace, love, Manischewitz, baby.
What a wine, especially when you drink it on Queens Boulevard. See ya.
Thanks, Mikey. Take care. Thank you all for listening too. And remember, let's go Mets. Bye-bye.